Today we're going to discuss a novel written by one of the most well-known American writers, Toni Morrison. But first, Jenna, please, the task was to also choose the topic for writing, right?
Right.
And can you mark those ones that you have chosen? Shall I go scroll down or up? So do you remember the number, the position of the topic that you have chosen?
One moment. I'll see you.
So do you see it? No?
Well, I chose a ninth position.
Okay, so for me to see what are you going mostly to talk about. Okay, and Felix? The seventh.
Yeah, the seventh.
Seventh. Okay, thank you guys. And wait a second. As a rule, we start with the writer. Can you just give a brief outline on the biography and the literary career of Toni Morrison? So, Rita, can you start?
Yeah, of course. Well, Toni Morrison was born in Lorain, Ohio, and when she attended university and got a degree in English literature and English language, well, she started writing The Bluest Eye when she was in her 30s, alone, when her husband left her, and she had 2 small kids, as I remember. And it was really tough for her because she worked she worked in a company that was about to move to New York City, so she made no friends in that town because she thought she would leave them soon, and it was lonely. And at that time she started to write The Bluest Eye, her first published novel.
Yes, you see that it was published actually in 1970, but you didn't outline, you didn't give the years of her life. She was born in
1931.
1931, right, and died?
In 2019.
Yeah, so you see there are just only 2 years since the time we lost her. So she used to be my contemporary, right? Okay, and I remember some students used to communicate with her when she was still alive. But okay, well, so you see here the list of the works that she published. And yes, you were talking about her literary career and her rewards. It's known that she gained worldwide recognition when she was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature, and it was in 1993. Okay, Felix, anything else to add as for the lifestyle, the career, literary career of the writer?
So, the reason why she wrote her first book, A Bluest Eye, is that she had nothing to read. Nothing, she didn't see any affinity in the books that she read. So
she admitted, yes, in one of her interviews, right, that whatever she read was meaningless, right? And the most important thing that she wanted, right, to put into her works is meaning. And here is a quotation: "The problem faces the writer is to make my story mean something. You can have wonderful, interesting people, fascinating story, but it's not about anything. It has no real substance. I want my books to always be about something that is important to me, and the subject that is important in the world are the same ones that have always been important." So this quotation also complements your saying that she is not, her writing style is not a usual one, right? And a number of her works are experimental. And that makes them different from the works of other writers. Okay, Felix, anything else to add?
No.
Oh, okay, if not, let's move on. Speaking about actually the bluest eye, have you acknowledged yourself with the prehistory of the creation of the novel?
Well, I guess yes.
What can you say? How did the idea come to the writer?
In particular, she was imbued by the situation occurred in the 19th century. One black woman who...
Black girl, maybe?
Black girl, maybe. Who was born enslaved, and she had 4 children. But as we may see, that people who had slaves could retain 4 black children slaves, even if they were free. So the opportunity came to this black girl, and once
she escaped.
She escaped from the slavery, but her children were in danger of being returned back.
Oh, yeah, captured.
So she decided to kill her 4 children. That's it.
Oh, really? Okay, yes. But actually, I meant another story. No, that is a very tragic one too. But I meant the story about a girl, a black girl who prayed for blue eyes, and it was a in part true story, and it was based on the conversation with the childhood friend who wanted blue eyes. And so this, it appeared about 20 years before the publication of the novel itself. And actually, to quote the writer, implicit in her desire was racial self-loathing. And so from this, obvious experience that the author had, she then finally developed the novel, which she was trying to complete between the years 1965 and 69. And she developed it into extensive study of socially constructed ideas of beauty and ugliness. That was actually the main idea, and she wanted to represent it in the bluest eye. Okay, but thank you for that information that you added. I mean, that woman who wanted to actually kill her children, right, in order to save them from some slavery.
I think this story contributed to the development of The Beloved. But that's
another novel that actually very impressively written. Okay, let's now speculate on the structure of this novel. Traditionally, the story structure, right? Every story has exposition, rise in action, climax, fall in action, resolution, right? Can we say that this story actually is based on the traditional storyline?
Well, I would not agree with this because there is no clear idea of where climax is supposed to be in that story, because the situations that take place in that novel, they contribute greatly to the development of the whole story, and we cannot say that there is such clear and understandable structure as the one which you represented on the previous slide.
But nevertheless, let's try, right, to outline the main thing. Maybe I think that you would agree with me that the climax occurs closer to the end, right? of the
Yes.
text. Though
Sure.
within the story, yes, structure a lot of other climatic sentences. More than that, we have a story within a story, right? Okay, this is also a particular element that differs this novel. Okay, so let us talk about exposition. Well, who narrates the exposition? Who narrates this part, the first part?
The very first part, I think it is Claudia.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
mistaken, she's a 9-year-old at the time.
Yes, you see, that is also one of the most important things, and we will be talking about it. It's multiple perspective, right? We have different perspectives. The third person of your narrator, some part narrated by Piccola, then the Claudia when she's 9, then when she's an adult person, right? But you're right, yes, the opening part is narrated by Claudia, and she lives with her parents and older sister. The name of his sister is
Frida.
Yes, right. And what about Piccola? How did it happen that she came to stay with the Martyrs?
Well, there is a great story behind her. Well, if we sum up, well, in a nutshell, her father burned their house, so she had nowhere to go.
Yes, that's right. Okay, and that is actually it would. The situation will be revealed, right, and explained further. But so
Yes.
the author doesn't start from the beginning, we may say, and there are a lot of flashbacks, right, and prospection and introspections, right, in this novel. Okay, what about raising actions? Okay, sure, we will not describe and discuss all the details, but what are the most vivid things that occur up to the fallen action?
Well, we can see how other people interact with Piccola. For example, her classmates, they call
Bullies.
her ugly and bully her.
Bully, yes. She is teased by classmate Nate Maureen, maybe you remember, Peel, right?
Yeah,
And there is also she mistreated by neighborhood boy, Lewis Jr. Don't you remember the way that moment with the cat?
We remember.
Yeah, remember.
Okay, Felix, can you give some details on the moment?
We will chronicles more beer. Okay. So there was a situation where this naughty boy tried to prank this little girl.
It was a very dirty prank.
Yeah, of course. He said there's a lot of small, fluffy kitten in his house. So she was naive and trusted him erroneously. Well, we've got into his house where he said, "Look at my great household. Look at this ample space," and so on. So he said, "Give me a minute. I'll bring my kittens." And when from the dark he took a big cat and threw it on the girl's face.
Yes, into her face, right.
So it was a truly ferocious cat. So this cat just
Scratched her face.
scratched her face.
Yeah.
And when in
In a moment of fight, she lost her balance and fall. But in that moment, the boy and fell. Yeah, and the boy he managed to let the cat escape. So the cat just flew into the window.
And so he
was terribly injured.
It was terribly injured.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But when the mother of Louis Jr. returns home, he blames Piccolo, right, for the incident. Okay, actually, in the course of Rising Action, we have a lot of incidents showing that Piccolo wants to have blue eyes, believing that if she had them, life would be better. Can you give me maybe some details or symbolic elements outlining or underlining actually this idea?
Well, at the beginning, after the pre-word, there is a small extract from a children's book about the life of Dick and Jane, and as we searched, we searched some information about it, and it turned out that this book was used to teach small children how to read. So I think this detail is hugely influential in this novel. That is the first thing mentioned. But then in the first chapter, in the autumn, the girls, they have some don't remember exactly, a bottle of milk or cereals where there is a portrait of Shirley Temple.
Yes.
Yes, blondie girl with blue eyes.
Famous American child star, known for her, blonde curls, babyish sitting, right? Okay. And here we have an obsession, Piccolo's obsession with drinking milk, right? Because how many cups a day did she used to drink? I don't know, 6 or 8, very many, right? And everyone was angry, right, with her doing that. But why was she doing that all the time? Because
she wanted to see her face.
Yes. That is maybe the major moment from which, right, this obsession of her starts. But unlike Piccolo, right, Claudia hates Shirley Temple, and she hates all Shirley Temples in the world. And again, give me that moment that emphasizes this idea of hating that symbol of blonde curls and blue eyes.
I believe it's the moment with how to say, doll.
Yeah.
So it was your New Year's gift. And she deselect it.
Dismembered, yeah.
And dismembered it.
Yeah. Well,
so in fact, she somehow imagined that she wasn't dismembering the doll, but she was dismembering
the idea.
Dismembering all, little girls.
Actually, it's an adult Claudia, right? The adult Claudia who recalls being given a blue-eyed baby doll for Christmas. And Claudia remembers actually dismembering the doll to see what it was made, to discover the DNA and to find the beauty. But the thing that she was not able to understand. There was nothing inside. But this actual moment, it serves as a contrasting to that obsession. Actually, Claudia experienced, right, and was held by. Okay, so let's move on. One more thing maybe we have to mention is this before the climax occurs, is the story of the Mrs. Bridloff and Charlie, right? Actually, also a great emphasis is given to that very moment. Okay, we will not discuss it right now. So, and the climax, the most tense moment. I think it maybe it can be called as that incident, right, that happened between Piccola and her father. We will not explicitly talk about it, okay? And what the fallen action? What about the fallen action? Can you specify that meeting between Piccola and Soaphead Church?
Yeah, sure. Well, Piccola came to Soaphead because he was considered to be some sort of helper of God on Earth. So she came to him and asked for blue eyes, but his reply was what he was only following the God's lead. So she should have asked God for it. And when she but nevertheless he wanted to help her because he sympathized with her, he pitied her. So he said that if something strange happened to the dog, then she would
her need would be fulfilled.
Yeah, her need would be fulfilled.
So he tricked her, right? He tricked her into poisoning his landlady's elderly dog. And finally, Piccola understands, right, that actually that miracle happened, right?
Yes.
And she eventually, got those blue eyes. But unfortunately, it was for the sake of her. It cost her sanity. It cost her sanity, right, to get what she really desired. Okay, so this is. And what about the resolution? What about the last part? How does the story end?
Well, the last part is called Summer. Well, first we can read some internal dialogue of Piccola with her inner voice. So we see that she has gone mad, and she's only obsessed with her blue eyes because she thinks that she really has them.
Yes, she constantly questions, right, whether the color is intensively blue, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, and she wants the bluest eyes in the universe.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so she, as if imagines a friend with whom she constantly had these conversations. So she has hallucinations, and the author implements this narrative, this stream of consciousness narrative, right, in the novel to show the deepest sadness, right, the tragedy, that excruciating pain with which this girl had to deal with. Well, and the very end is, I guess it's
of Claudia, I suppose.
Yeah, Claudia and Freda, right? Okay, they committing a kind of act of sacrifice.
Yes.
What is it?
As I remember, they wanted to sell some seeds, but instead they threw them into the ground and tried to raise some plants from them. But unfortunately, seeds
didn't grow.
Did not grow, yeah.
The seeds didn't grow, so they believe that if the seeds grow, then the baby of Piccola will stay alive, but the seeds didn't grow. The baby died, and that was the end, actually, of the story. Yeah, very tragic. A very tragic end. Okay, so as I have already mentioned, the story contains a lot of symbols and a lot of motifs, and one of them is maybe the title itself, The Bluest Eye. Can you particularize why we have here singular instead of plural? Why the bluest eye, not the bluest eyes?
Maybe if you have one bluest eye,
One
you must
eye?
have the second eye.
I
Maybe
think.
two eyes cannot be equally blue. Like if you want something the bluest, maybe you cannot
Must be a
have
singular.
No, you have to, I think, to dig into the idea, actually, of the novel. The typical blue eye symbolize the beauty and happiness, right? Which she
Right.
wanted to attain. And she associates it with the white middle class world, right? The world which is prohibited. She is not of that world. She's not a part of that world, right? And you remember that the breedlove, this family, they, as if, had no love if we talk about their upbringing and their maturation. And since they didn't experience anything positive in their life, they couldn't replicate their life, so the children got nothing. And they were grown up in the atmosphere of neglect, of racial hatred, of self-hatred. That is most important, right? And if the girl is told by everyone, by the people with whom she associates, right, by the parents, by everyone in the society, that she is ugly, so what kind of worldview, what kind of esteem she would have? Surely she would start constantly eating herself and, contempting herself, right, for the fact. Maybe the thing that she imagined finally having these blue eyes, it was kind of escape from that, how to say, chaotic world, discrepant reality in which she had to be. And the bluest eye then associates maybe, or it may symbolize her own blindness. For she gains blue eyes only at the cost of her sanity. And the author uses here singular in order to express Piccola's sad isolation.
Oh, yes, maybe. I just had an idea that because she goes mad in the last part, maybe it is because she can have only one blue eye. Like that is her desire. She, as if is parted, and only her inner self has that blue eye, but others, they do not see it because, well, it is her inner self. They cannot see her soul, her desires.
Okay, yeah, I understood you. Actually, it also can emphasize kind of double identity or split personality, right? Okay.
And disability.
Maybe. So yes, I agree with you that her desire for blue eyes is unrealistic, and it's based on one correct maybe insight into her own world. She believes that the cruelty she witnesses and experiences is connected to how she is seen, right, by other people. And if she had beautiful blue eyes, people would not want to do ugly things to her, right? And she wouldn't face those, say, mutilations and torturings she had to. And by wishing for blue eyes rather than lighter skin, because emphasis, you see, is not on the skin, it's on the eyes. It's just a terrible obsession. She indicates that she wishes to see things differently as much as she wishes to be seen differently. And that is very important, I think. Okay, so let's move on. What about the setting, the place, the house, the apartment of the breedlove? What do you think? How does it also, I don't know, underline the idea of the novel?
They live in poetry and only thing that is, well, good looking, it may be the stove. Because it gives them heat, so they can survive in this flood. And they live just in despair. They're all in despair. All members of this family are in despair. Piccola and her older brother, his father, her father, her mother, and they have some worn out furniture, like beds, and everything is just I don't know how everything is.
Everything is torn and undesirable, right?
Yeah, torn.
And the family believes that they themselves are, like the house and the furniture, ugly.
True.
They are defined as ugly because they do not look like the culture's definition of beautiful. They are black and poor and do not see any affirmation of their reality anywhere. And if we look at what they have in their life, they have only contempt, exclusion, and it finally becomes a kind of template for their internal interactions. And if we see the family discourse, so what kind of language do they use? Just verbal, physical, and other form of abuses.
Oh yeah, they use some vulgarisms.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
There is a scene in this novel where Choli fights Polly, and it is a usual scene for Piccola. So it also reflects her mental state.
Yeah. Yes. You know, when after the publication of the novel, first the novel even was banned due to those graphic scenes of violence that she actually depicted in this novel. But then, actually, it was reconsidered, and nowadays it's accepted. It's a classical novel, right? Because it teaches people. Sometimes you have to see, right, all those things, graphic things, in order to spring from them, in order to create
compassion.
Yes, okay, something like that. Okay, so any other symbols? Maybe marigolds?
Marigolds. Could you please name once again marigolds?
Marigolds, yes, okay.
I forgot in what part of a novel.
No, actually, they're in the end when Roden and Freda they actually decide to plant these flowers, right?
Oh yeah.
So it may be a symbol of safety and well-being, right? Of Piccola's baby and their life. It can be also, on a large scale, it can represent a renewal of nature or something like that. Okay, what about the surname of the family?
You mean of breedloves?
Yes, to breed love means to breed love, yes, to make love, yeah, but...
it's an irony as well.
Yeah, surely the author, I think, that should have left. Well, The Bluest Eye is a work of tremendous emotional, cultural, and historical depths, I think, and its passages are rich with allusions to Western history, to media, to literature, to religion. There are a lot of actually things that can be extracted from it. And some of them, as you have chosen to write your essay.
Well, well, I chose Piccola's obsession because of her self-hatred and maybe hatred of other people.
Okay. Can you add anything to the thing that we have already discussed?
Well, I think that if we take a scene when Piccola goes to a store to buy some candies, she walks into the store and she wants to buy candies, but she does not want to talk to the man behind the desk because she feels as if she is not worthy of talking to that man. I recall he's Jewish, I think.
Jewish.
So and there is some discomfort in this scene because as she wants to give him pennies for candies, he as if doesn't want to take pennies from her hand even. Well, at least she thinks so.
So she thinks that she's so disgusting that
Yeah,
she's of,
disgusting,
touching
dirty.
his hand.
Yeah. So if a person cannot go even into the store, what can we say about her life? She feels as if she is nothing. She is a victim. Victim of that bullying, of that relationships, of interaction with other people, and of her family members, their behavior, their actions, they influence her. So because of all of that, she forms that complex. Her obsession with blue eyes, she cannot even think that she's worthy of something when she doesn't have blue eyes. It is just a terrible idea, and that Soap had wanted to help her, but in fact, I don't know if he made better or worse, the situation better or worse, because well, basically, she goes mad in the last chapter and don't know, maybe this idea that God is helping her made her suffer even more. Maybe.
Yes, okay, I absolutely agree with you. And but can you say that the author's message was to represent the black characters in a dehumanizing way?
No, definitely not. Otherwise, she would not have given us the background of the main characters, and especially of Piccolo's father and mother, because they are portrayed, well, they have some negative characteristics, yes, definitely, when they are grown-ups, but when we look back at their background, we can see that they actually experienced a lot, and they're deprived of love, of some of compassion, of some basic feelings that are necessary to raise well, mentally healthy child. So I think that the author added that part, that insight into their life, because she wanted to make us sympathize with those characters. They mean a lot, and if the characters are complex, then we can actually observe them from many points of view and understand the idea that is hidden behind their characters.
Yes, definitely they're around. Yeah, they're around. They have a lot of sides to look at. Well, thank you, Rita. What about you, Felix? What about your topic that you have chosen? Can you add anything on it?
About cultures, black and white. So it's a good theme to talk about. So black culture in USA, especially in 30s, are simply weak and pretty young. So it was just passed about what, about 70 years since slaves were liberated, and from that time blacks were almost in depth in comparison to white ones, even with the most poor and the poorest whites. So, and therefore there's a great how to say schism in cultures. For black people, their culture is pretty primitive and in some cases tragic. As for the whites, it's pretty the same as the European ones.
Like
but
aristocratic.
not aristocratic, it's just a regular culture of you know, of good manners, of good
Wages.
education,
Yeah.
good conditions of life, and a little bit of arrogance.
That's it, right, Felix? Okay, I have some exercises for you to deal. The first one is in the chat. Now I want you to share your screen with me. Wait a second, I'll give you rights to be the leader. Okay, can you share your screen with mine now and open the first one? The first is easy to do, it deals with characters, and the second deals with stylistics. Okay, so can you make it a bit bigger? So you see here we have the task. You have to to fill the missing words. Here are the definitions of here some characteristics of people are given, and you have to type the name of the character of the novel. Okay, Rita, let you be the first one.
Okay.
Definitely, yes, it's Pickle. Okay, what's the second? Alex? Claudia, that's right. Okay, the third.
It is Pauline. Should I write Polly or Pauline?
Pauline. Write the full name.
Okay.
Okay, the fourth. Yes. Charlie, you want to say?
In fact, he was Charlie, and he was Charles. His full name.
Charles, but actually in the novel he's called Charlie, right?
Okay.
So the next one, Felix. Maybe you remember the name of this character. You have a son. Louis Jr. What was your name?
No, there is a little said about her in the novel. Maybe I can recall. Well,
Your name starts with G.
Georgia?
No, Geraldine.
Oh,
Geraldine, yeah.
Sure.
Starts with G, not J. Geraldine, I believe there is A after R.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, and the pre-last. You remember that girl? She used to have 6 fingers, right, on her head.
Yeah.
On her hands. And what was your name?
Maureen Peel.
Maureen, yes, okay. Type only the first name.
Okay.
Double E, oh yeah? Maureen, double E and more. No.
I miss something.
Yes, yeah, and yes, there is no E.
Yeah, there is no E.
In the end, okay. And the last is the name of the guy who tricked Piccola with a cat.
Oh, it is Lewis.
Lewis Jr.
Yeah, Lewis.
Jr. Was also
yeah.
Jr. Junior, okay, and check yourself now. Yes, everything is right, okay? And now can I ask you to start another one? Task number 2 in chat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, and here we deal with some sentences, and I would like you to find stylistic devices, and if you can, explain the effect a little bit. Can you again make it a bit bigger? No.
I think it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, this way.
Bigger, made bigger.
Even bigger. Okay, that's okay. Okay. So, okay, Felix, let's start with you.
The dial fire lines was kind of a deadly dull orange glow. It's everything.
Oh, yes, and yeah, this is maybe anything else that you can see here.
Maybe a little bit of alliteration, deadly dull.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Okay. Describe the setting. Yes, choose. Yes, check solution again. If you see some other stylistic devices, also be ready to name them and a bit specify the effect. Okay. Next question.
Well, where conversation is like a gently wicked dance, sound meets sound, courtesy shimmers and retires, another sound enters bodies upstaged by steel, another the two circle each other and stop. Well, there's definitely a personification because sound is...
Enter.
Yeah. What else?
Well, there was list, definitely. There's retires. Like
a jelly.
Yeah, so we have a similar to, yes, it was used somewhere at the beginning, right, of the narrative, and the author established the situation in which people lived, right?
Yeah.
Okay, check solution, next one.
Your eyes were sorry, pretty eyes, pretty blue eyes, big blue, pretty eyes, round, Jeep brown, red Jeep brown, Alice runs, Alice has blue eyes, Jerry has blue eyes, Jerry runs, Alice runs, by round people are blue eyes, four pretty blue eyes, blue sky.
Do you remember who narrates this part? Is it Claudia?
No.
Piccola maybe.
Piccola in the end, so it appears in the end? Or at the beginning?
It was in the end, as I remember.
But it's not narrated by Piccola.
Yeah, I think it is just by the author.
Yeah, okay, she's just, okay, again, kind of plain words, right, uses here. And, speaking about the devices, look at them.
I don't see here metonymy.
Okay, there is no metonymy, right? But what do you see?
List.
Definitely, but what is listed? I should rip, run, rip, run, right? Okay, maybe. I have a lot of repetitions here, right? Different type. Anaphoric repetition, epiphoric repetition, right?
Yes.
What else? Blue, sky, eyes, right? Can be classed as a kind of epithet. So what else? So what is your choice?
Fourth.
The fourth, an ellipse, right? Ellipse is also is used here. Incomplete sentences. Okay, right. Correct. Rita?
Blue like Mrs. Foster's blue blouse eyes, Morning Glory blue eyes, Alice and Jerry blue storybook eyes. So there are epithets.
Yes. What kind of epithets? Phrase epithet we have here,
Phrase
right?
epithets. Yeah.
And yes, phrase epithet and with the phrase paragraphs, right? Okay, it's possible to say the writer employs, right? Into the novel, especially if you take the beginning, there was a paragraph right closer in the first page or second, where she just joined, right, all the words in one sentence without any gaps between them. It's also a kind of experimental language, but it explains, right, the idea. It's quite appropriate. Okay, so choose and check solution, and let's move on.
Oh.
Alliteration.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah. They also use a lot of examples like alliteration too. Okay, the next.
I know you even made your parts of the world, and the world a part of who. What?
Yeah, look at the structure.
Kind of paradox about chiasmus.
Chiasmus, yeah, chiasmus, definitely. The words are repeated in reverse. They go in reverse order. That's it. Type of parallelism. Okay, type of repetition. Okay, Rita.
My dad's face is a steady winter moves into it, and precise there, his eyes become a cliff of snow frozen into avalanche. His eyebrows bent like black limbs of leafless trees. He laughed, be grown up, getting ready to lie laugh. Well.
What about? It's about daddy, right? Okay, it's about.
Yeah, I think we have another epithet here, like phrase epithet getting ready to lie.
And where is metaphor? If there is a metaphor, where is it?
Became a cliff of snow frozen into the lens.
Yeah, sure. When maybe it's that kind of metaphor that borders with hyperbole, even, right? Because they also wanted to underline aggressiveness, right, of the facial expression of Charlie.
And here, his eyebrows bent like black wings of
trees. Yes, that's right. It's a similar, right? Definitely. Okay, next, Felix.
Well, I'll get a glass, not no clean one either. Use the jar. I got a mason jar and filled it with water from a faucet. It seemed a long time filling. Nobody never want nothing.
Yes, pay attention, right, to the structure. Nobody never want nothing. How many negations are there in this sentence?
I think when everybody got to drink water, when the jar was full, I moved to leave the room. Where are you going? Outside. Bring that water right here. I ain't gonna break nothing. You don't know what you're gonna do. Yes, ma'am, I do. Let me take it out. I won't spill none.
Okay, surely. So how do you class these words? As let me, gonna?
Let me, it's graphon.
Graphon, yes, definitely. It's an intentional violation of the shape of the word in order to reflect its authentic pronunciation. It's graphon. And what else? A lot of elliptical structures here. We have two, right? Such as outside, right? Let me take it out. Okay, what else?
And
alliteration, yes, I believe. Nobody, never, nothing, for example, right? It's kind of in grammatical structure, right? The structure that is not grammatically correct. It's also a peculiar way of Afro-American speaking. Check solution next.
Grass wouldn't grow where we lived, flowers died, shades fell down, tin cans and tires blossomed where they lived. They lived on cold black-eyed peas and orange pop. Like flies they whirred, like flies they settled, and this one had settled in her house. Well,
kind of repetition.
Yeah, repetition.
Flies they hovered, like flies they settled. And one had settled. So they call themselves flies, right?
Yes, flies. Oh, simile.
Similar, definitely. Parallelism, right? In structures, we have some.
Yeah, parallelism, like slightly settled.
King cans and tires blossomed.
Yeah, blossomed.
Did they blossom? Because it's kind of imagery, maybe matter, maybe irony. I don't know. The mixture of all different devices in one.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe. Yes, it's the false one. Okay. The next.
Nasty White Fox is about the nastiest things by is.
Nasty White Fox is about the nastiest thing there is, right? Okay, we have a peculiar way of structuring. Root repetition, right? Nasty, nasty, yes. And Felix, can you specify the effect this root repetition produces?
So nasty, about nastiest. So just conveys again as we may judge the concentration of that nasty.
Arrogance. Maybe white people are considered as whole. Maybe there is no class division because they all behave in the same way. Maybe that is what is meant there.
Yeah, maybe cultural preconception or stereotypical attitude. Yeah, they also wanted to show into the structure. Next.
Holding Charlie as a model of sin and failure, she wore him like a crown of thorns and her children like a cross.
About whom? To whom is this phrase referred?
Oh, it is about Pauline.
Yes, I definitely enjoy this similes. That she wore him like a crown of thorns and children like a cross.
Yeah, like a cross. So
yeah,
some religious.
Yeah, religious. Okay, implication right is given here.
The candy dance was a humming, skipping, foot tapping, eating, smacking combination with over 2 years when we had sweets. Change of episodes.
Change of episodes, definitely. You're right. Next.
Them she bent toward respectability, and in so doing taught them fear. Fear of being clumsy, fear of being like their father, fear of not being loved by God, fear of madness like Charlie's mother's. Into her son she that allowed desire to run away, and into her daughter she bear a fear of growing up, fear of our people, fear of life. All the meaningfulness of her life was in her work.
Yeah, again, surely it's Pauline. Who is represented here, and now speculate on the stylistic features.
Fear, it's repetition and aphoric.
Definitely it's an aphoric repetition. What else? So it's a list again, right? Because some things are enumerated. What else?
Into her son, she better loud. Into her daughter, she better fear. Something again, kinda simile.
Kind of simile. Yeah, like.
Parallelism, no?
Maybe parallelism.
Yeah, there is parallelism in structures. Maybe climax. Can you say that there is a climax even achieved by all this repetition, right? Again, the emotive, right? Climax.
Yeah, definitely escalates reaction.
Yeah, there is escalation. Now, why do you think, why so many times the author repeats this word? Fear, 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 fear. What idea is represented? What effect is produced?
Well, you, as if in that atmosphere of constant fear and hatred, and you are put into a position where you can feel like the main characters, I guess. To give better understanding of their feelings, of their life.
That's right. It intensifies the idea of cultural again, preconception against the black people. Right. Okay. And intensity of the feelings is reproduced. Okay. Yes. Climax. Okay. Next one.
And I'm afraid I'll come, and afraid I won't, but I know I will when I do. and it'd be a rainbow all inside, and it's last and last and last. I want to thank him. I don't know how, so I
Okay.
prayed, but I know, do, rainbow and last. It's not framing.
No.
I believe it's not ellipses.
No, there are no elliptical structures. And it lasts. It lasts. No, it's a complete. Attachment, you see, but I know I will and I do, and it will and it be rainbow and it lasts. So we have the repetition of and this conjunction, right? When the sentence starts with it, it adds information, right? It attaches you. It say something and you again add something and add something to it, and this kind of stylistic device is called attachment. Yes, right.
I mean, a musician would sense no without even knowing whether he knew what Charlie was free, dangerously free to feel whatever he felt, fear, guilt, shame, love, grief, pity, free to be tender or violent, to whistle or weep, free to sleep in doorways or between the white sheets of a singing woman, free to take a job, free to leave it.
Yeah, and again we have this circular-like pattern, right? The author as it reminds maybe of poetic structuring, right? With a refrain, right? A refrain and repetition. She repeats again with new emphasis, adding new intensity, right, to the structure. Very powerful diction the author has. And so, Rita, what do you have here? What do you see?
Well, the last phrase, free to take a job, free to leave it. Maybe it is some kind of antithesis.
Yes, definitely. It's antithesis, right? Well, besides this antithesis, we have a lot of other stylistic devices. Okay, let's proceed.
We around the house of white people, I knew it. When white men were men, we cleaned up the blood and went home to receive abuse from the victim. The beat their children with one hand and stole for them with the other. The hands that filled trees also cut umbilical cords. The hands that from the necks of chickens and butcher hawks also nudged African violets into bloom. Worms that loaded sheaves, bales and sacks throw babies into sleep, like potted biscuits into flaky old walls of innocence and shrouded with it.
Yeah, another example, right, of very intensive writing of the writer we have here. Okay, Felix, what is the prevailing device here?
It's not suspense.
No. Though, okay, there is a kind of intensity to the end of the paragraph, right? But no, I didn't want to emphasize this one.
I don't see here hyperbole.
You see, they said the hands.
Metonymy.
Metonymy, definitely. Metonymy here. Apart from metonymy, what other devices do you see?
Kind of metaphor or something.
Imagery, yes. Produced by parallelism again, right? Maybe again kind of antithesis, right?
Yeah, least.
Least, yes, definitely. Yeah. Okay, continue.
They were big, white, armed men. He was small, black, helpless.
Antithesis.
Definitely.
Contrast.
Yeah, and contrast is created. Whom do you think is it referred?
Well, it was about Charlie, about his,
Mistreatment, right?
mistreatment, yeah.
Okay, that's it. Next.
His business was bread. People came to him in bread, whispered in bread, wept and ended in bread. Epiphora.
Epiphora, right. Okay, very good.
We courted death in order to call ourselves brave and hid like thieves from life. We substituted good grammar for intellect. We switched habits to simulate maturity. We rearranged lies and called it truth, seeing in new pattern of an old idea the revelation and the world.
Word.
Oh, word, yeah.
Yes, word.
maybe again antithesis.
Yes, yes,
Violence and heed.
yeah, and can you maybe, yes, they're all also right here philosophically, right?
Oh, definitely.
And can you, in your own words, paraphrase or express that idea that you wanted to represent in this passage?
Well, basically, they imitated maturity and bravery in order to seem to others like brave and mature or intelligent. So maybe I think that this sentence reflects the idea that that those characters used to substitute real values for false ones.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. You're right. Next one. We are coming to the end. We have two more. Felix?
Called people were neat and quiet, niggers were dirty and loud. Again, antithesis.
Antithesis, right. And again, Felix, some words about it. Some words about maybe.
Nigger is now, how to say, yeah, 1 second.
Mm-hmm. It's prohibited from usage, right?
It's
considered to be almost like a curse word, right?
We have a term to describe this word.
Vulgarism and curse word, what?
Not even.
No? You want
how to say?
Scorn?
No, scorn, but slam or square or one.
Oh, okay, forget about it.
No.
Describe it in simple way.
No, I can't. I need to find.
Okay, while he's trying to find Rita, can you speculate a bit on the difference in the way, say, colored people were treated by that society, I mean, in that novel?
Well, they were misregarded.
But not that much in comparison with Afro-Americans, right?
Oh, definitely. In comparison with Afro-Americans, well, Afro-Americans were the least people to consider admiration from the part of society.
Mm-hmm.
And they were regarded as unworthy, just doing some plain jobs, acting terribly, drunk, and well, they were portrayed as
under people.
Yeah, under people.
Kind
they were, and also they were portrayed as underprivileged. Actually.
Yes. Okay, move on. Felix, have you found?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Rita, check solution and let's deal with the last one.
Okay.
Oh, I found maybe it's 1 second.
2 seconds.
Oh.
It's
No.
1 second. 1 second.
Rita, let's deal with another one.
Okay.
Yes, it is the last one, right? Okay.
Yeah, love is never any better than the lover. Wicked people love wickedly, violent people love violently, weak people love weakly, stupid people love stupidly, but the love of the three men is never safe. There is no gift for the beloved. The lover alone possesses his gift of love. The loved one is shorn, neutralized, frozen in the glare of the lover's inward eye. Okay.
Can you analyze?
Well, maybe it is a different framing because we have some phrases like wicked people love wickedly and violent people love violently.
So we have here root repetition too, yes?
Yeah.
Root repetition.
Kind of parallelism, definitely, because strategies are repeated.
And how is the idea of love represented in this passage?
I found it is
Okay.
called slur.
Slur? Slur, okay, slur, right, slur.
Yeah, sure.
Of course, words are also called, okay. And so I just want you to exemplify, to particularize the idea of love, the way it is represented in the story, and the way it can be extracted from the last passage. Alex, Rita, are you here?
Yeah, it's just a tough question because we cannot see love anywhere really in this novel. It seems
But maybe it's about the need. Yes, actually, all those people, they needed love, and they wanted to be loved. And the author speculates about it in the end of the novel in order maybe to raise the awareness, right, of everyone. Because we are all responsible, and she wanted also to say that we are all responsible, and we are guilty for those who are underprivileged. Because sometimes unconsciously we hurt other people. And actually, as the author herself wrote, she called this novel as race-specific yet race-free novel, the product of a desire to be free of racial hierarchy. Yes, the novel is about racism and largely about the way Afro-American people were treated, right? In, say, 1950s years. But I think it's not only about Piccola, it's not about that race. It's about every person who is marginalized and stigmatized. Don't you agree with me?
I think you're right. This gives the a clear understanding of that idea.
Yes, that's why the novel is very deep in that sense. Because I think in any society, in any race, yeah, you might find the same neglect, mistreatment, bullying, right? And we have to be wise, not to let it flourish, right? Not to let it boost. Okay, can I ask you to stop sharing?
Okay.
We a bit exceeded the time. Okay, so we, I believe, are coming to the end of the analysis of this novel. And I actually like the way you express yourself today. I believe that this novel gives a lot of food for thought while you read it and while you discuss it. And as I've told you, this novel has been categorized as an American classic in the tradition of Edgar Allan Poe, Herman Melville, Mark Twain, William Faulkner, some of these writers I believe that you acknowledge with, right? Sure. And this topic surely is not, wasn't the new one, because we have already touched it while we were discussing. Remind me the works. What were the other works that we discussed of the same topic?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
The works of literature that are written on the same topic.
To Kill Mockingbird.
To Kill the Mockingbird, right? Okay, written by.
Written by.
Bernally. No, how to? No, forgot.
No.
Harper Lee.
Harper Lee, yes, that's right. Okay. Last year there was a poem which was based on the same topic which we discussed.
Benjamin Zephaniah.
No, not.
No, yeah, and the story about Benjamin Zephaniah too. Okay, and Langalo, wait, remind me, what was your name? Still a Rise, right? And Still a Rise.
Yes,
That was the poem, very powerful, right? Okay, very powerful written too. Okay, so and let's call it a day. And let us just outline maybe the next little work which I would like to discuss with you. Actually, I have seen the list of your choice. I have noticed the novel written by James Joyce. Ulysses, tell me, do you literally want to read this novel? Do you dare?
I think we are too young and green to read Ulysses.
Okay, I have this novel actually. Okay, it's I feel it's too far to reach to show it, but the novel is really thick, you know, about 900 pages.
Yeah.
And it describes only one day. So I would say that it's not. It's a tough work. It's a tough mental work to read this novel. Yes, to analyze, to discuss the symbolism of everything. It's really fascinating, but to read at this time, maybe you have to have more time for this novel. Maybe during summertime you will do it again. If you want to take the work written by James Joyce, I would rather recommend you to read his novel, A Portrait as a Young Man. It's easier to read, and we can take it if you like. It's a kind of biographical work, written in a biographical manner. You know that James Joyce, he got education at Jesuit college. It's a religious, education that he had, and all his meditation, starvation, inner struggling is shown with this novel. So it's a process of maturation of an artist. If you like, we can take it. We can read, but I also noticed a novel written by Steinbeck of Mice and Men. So if it's easier to read and it's a short one. So I would recommend you for the next maybe a lesson when we have literature, right? To take first that of Mice and Men by Steinbeck, because it's easier to read and it's short in comparison with other works that actually you came up with. Well, guys, and so the next time on Tuesday we are having English booster. I will send you the pages, okay? But maybe on Friday, if the situation is favorable, we will discuss Steinbeck with you, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions to me? No.
No.
Okay, thank you for your sharing. Thank you for your ideas. Okay, see you on Tuesday. Goodbye. Good luck.
Thank you for the lesson. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.